Okay, so I'm a minute late. I think. I don't know. I sometimes we get distracted. Today I got distracted. Um, I got distracted by "Come a Little Bit Closer" by Jay and the Americans. I don't know if you know the song, but look it up. Yeah. Um, it's one of those things. So hi, how are you? Welcome to the show. The stream. You know what I mean. Um, just a second. I got everything happens in the same moment. So I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope that people have had a chance to take a look at the new page because I think it's funny as a fart. Funny as a fart in an elevator. So just finishing this. Terribly unprofessional I am. Anyhow, hi, how are you? Yeah, Jay and the Americans, Come a Little Bit Closer. That's the song you need to look up. I'm listening to the soundtrack from the Guardians of the Galaxy very, very quietly because if the door knocks, I'm going to run away. But, and in the interim, today we're going to do some digital drawing. I've got yesterday's page up. Monday's page, or I'm sorry, Tuesday's page was the what takes kids so long to order. Um, this suggestion was from Rachel, I believe. The Cat Curling City Championships. This suggestion was from Didi. It was cat curling down the ice. And then Sunday and Mondays was the most sarcastic man in the world. Sunday I posted one perspective on it. Monday I posted completely opposite perspective. So that was fun. Yeah, things are coming together pretty fair. If the door does knock though, I have a be right back sign I'm going to throw up and run away for a minute. So, as per usual, you got a one-page comic idea that you can sum up in a couple sentences? Let me know. Even if it's a couple words. I've been doing 3-word prompts at this point. So, there's nothing too crazy. Well, maybe, but I don't think I've had anything that I've just flat out rejected. So, reason we got a blank screen up is today I'm going to draw digitally. Isn't that right, Corbin? He agrees. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot one thing before. Here's the originals. So I drew all the parts and different pieces of, nice cardstock. And there's the curlers that got positioned throughout the piece. And then there's the ladies, and then there's the cats. So, yeah, that came together fairly well. And then, of course, on my Patreon, I posted all those with the finished page. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun doing these one-page comics. It's something that I enjoy doing, and it's something that the best part of doing them is that whatever crazy ideas come in, that's what you got to try to work out. Hey, hi, Jim. Bye, Jim. That's very nice of him to pop in and out. It really is, actually. It's nice. The likes are nice. The views are nice. I don't understand how all the robots, the algorithms work. I really don't. All I know is I am doing this stuff anyways. And if there's anything that I can pass on to help other people in their creative journey, great. But I'm going to be doing it anyways. So, yeah, you're more than welcome to come on along and tell all your fans. Anybody has questions or ideas, let me know. I'm down. I got no problem whatsoever stopping what I'm doing to walk somebody through something. But today, dum dum dum. So I open up a new page on the screen. It's the same size as the previous pages, as you can see. And sorry, I'm flicking and flashing through these so fast, but like I can show you here, this is drawn in marker. The next page is drawn in dipping pen, dipping into ink. This page from yesterday is pencil and a ballpoint pen and a lot of photo manipulation background. And then today we're going digital. So I was playing for a minute because you got to get warmed up, right? And so I put together, what I did is I made a box, right? And I left it up there, switched over to the paint tool or the paintbrush tool, and just started doing this inside the confines of the box. And, you know, it makes you look all fancy because, as you can see, this is the only thing on this layer is this box. And with the image inside of it. And it makes it sort of look like, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. But I've got other things set up. Like here's another layer I put down. I've got all these brushes that I try to find random things. And I can't use all the different brushes that are in Photoshop because my Photoshop program is Photoshop 5. And I don't know what they're on, 6,000. But it works for me. And so whenever I can find old brushes, and I'll try to save these, and a lot of them are really random things. Like these are different. It's on the screen right now where I'm swinging the brush around. Hi, Aditi. Welcome aboard. So back over here where I'm swinging around on this section here, these are all parchment papers. So if I take a parchment paper and that's it. It's just a piece of parchment texture. Now there's other ones that they look like, and let me make this a little bit bigger. It's meant to look like an open page set. So, you know, Didi says, I only use Procreate on iPad. I don't have Procreate or an iPad. I know that a lot of people swear by those, but A, I can't. I haven't been able to afford one. And B, I like my Photoshop thing because I don't have to pay anything for it. And I understand a lot of these things are paying setups. Here's other textures. This is, I don't know what. That's the best part of this is that I don't know what these are. Let me switch colors here so maybe it's a little easier to see. That's trees, apparently. It's the forest. So, yeah, so I like to throw these things. I don't use them as, I don't think, for what they're, see, like this is what I'm talking about, these crazy paper water ink spill pattern things. I think that these are neat, but I don't really use them, I think, for what they're intended, because my idea behind them is to just try out whatever, you know, as a background, as, you know, just schmutz in the background. Like, I don't know what this is for, but, you know, it's fun. It's fun to play with these things. So, what do we got? I don't have Photoshop other than the app. Procreate was $9.99 one time. Yeah, that might have been a one time ago. I don't know what it is today. I can't honestly tell you. But I hear about all these subscription services, and my response to that is no. And that's only because I am the cheapest man on planet Earth. So maybe not. Rain, these are rain brushes where they give you different types of rain. Then there's different effects like that, different day glow dot effects. So I try to find as many of these quirky and weird brushes that they'll let me put on my incredibly old Photoshop program. Like this is some of the ways that I do stars in space. And it's fun, you know, like it really, it gives you something. But if you have the opportunity, for instance, on whatever device you're drawing on, whatever program you're drawing on, to do this, to find this sort of stuff, I think you should do it. No, Didi says there's no subscription for Procreate. What? Well, maybe that's something I should look into then. Again, Cheapest man on planet Earth. Here, I'll make a note for myself. Ready? Hey, Chris. Get Procreate. There we go. Look at that. See, it's a note. Okay, back to what we're doing. So I'm going to kill all these layers I've been opening. And then, so I've got a couple suggestions for today's comic, and I'm just going to get right into drawing it. And we'll chat as I go. I'm going to start with this one. This one's fun. Yeah, I'll leave that. Procreate, no subscription to Procreate. It is an app. Okay, well, if I can just download it and it's there, it's fine. But if it means you get access to whatever my computer is, no. I'll have to look into that. Thank you, though, Dee Dee. Thanks for that information. Okay, so I've got this base layer set up down here. And why don't I get that? And that's the beautiful thing about being able to do whatever you want, move it wherever you want. Now, I've got a couple of different suggestions for today. Go into the book. And I had a bunch of suggestions coming in this morning. Rachel gave me a couple of great suggestions. One is a peacock in a barbershop. Another one was Inside the Mind of Dee Dee Willingham. And the title should be Her Digital Head. These are Rachel's suggestions. Jim Luan's The Art Caster hosts Meet the Alternate Dimension Cells. I'm holding off on for the moment. Now, I've also got The Devil Concedes a God, The Revolution's a Bad Idea. Jurassic Park with giant sloths. The Matrix with giant sloths. And then there's three prompts. Mermaid, Unicorn, Fence. That is a really straightforward one to me. And I really like the idea of that. But where else? I lost my place. There is and always will be multiple Earths. Cause and effect. I'm missing something. Okay, the money changer from the wishing well is a jinn. Don't take money from them. That's fun. Am I caught up with everything? I think so. Well, just the day the dishes did me, the day the bed made me, the day the phone answered me. I don't know what that one meant. But I don't really know what to do with any of them until I get started. But that's kind of part of the fun, isn't it? So, yeah, I don't know. We can do whatever. Anybody has any votes? Dee Dee's already cracked up about peacock in a barbershop. I'm pretty open to whatever. But I'm just going to start making with the picatures. That's part of the fun to me, really, is the idea that you can just take whatever in things like Photoshop or Procreate or whatever other drawing program people are using. And you can incorporate so many different things into it, like, different tools and different devices. And I think that's kind of keen. I think that the idea of that to me is really, it's something that sort of makes me appreciate and enjoy the idea that stuff like that lets you explore numerous possibilities of creative expression that you might not have had otherwise. And sometimes the problem with working traditionally is that you're so saddled with the idea of having to make a mess, to clean up, to set up, to set down, whatever it is. And the challenges that that you face with those is that, well, now what? Like now I've got all of the stuff that I want to do creatively. I want to make all these images and pictures and stuff like that. But in order to be able to do so, I have to have an environment or a space to work. And whereas people with tablets and people with computers, off you go. Okay, so right now I'm only using a mouse. And I haven't even picked my brush tool up yet. I've just started with seeing silly things that I can find. But I'm just going to put it on a regular old brush, and it takes a second because I have so many brushes on my computer, and my computer is clearly not the biggest drawing engine on it. So, okay, so I'm going to throw down a couple of shapes, and I'm going to do so. So I've reduced the opacity. So as I'm filling in, actually, you know what? Let me step back one. Put that on its own layer. Okay. So as I'm doing this, this is me just sort of breaking up the shapes for the environment itself, and not getting too caught up in anything more so than looking at the idea that in an environment like a barber shop, I need to figure out, let me switch that. There we go. I'm really keeping my palette limited to, yeah, that sucks. I'm keeping my palette really limited right now so that I can do whatever I can with a limited amount of shapes. And then I'm going to make this brush as big as I can. Okay, so I don't know I don't know how other people work when they're building a scene or whatever they're doing. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks and not getting too caught up about it, and kind of having fun with that. If that makes sense to anybody. Hey, let's just cut that out, Rudsman. What are you doing? Anyhow, I don't know how exciting this is for people to watch, but so in my head, I'm building the barbershop, right? Just throwing together a bunch of shapes. I got some weird underlying textures and stuff like that. I'm not overly concerned about everything being perfect and everything being set up in such a way as to, this is the perfect image as I'm putting it down. I'm just having fun. And we'll see what I put together with that. Another way that I'll draw is that I'll do this. And so if I'm going to build some shapes, and I'm going to hold the shift down so that it lets me build up these pieces. And so what I'm doing right here is that I'm just kind of building up like an outline of a barber's chair. And then throw down the silver color of that, and then come in with this guy and start putting in some of the parts of it. Like I'll draw it in, but because I've kept this sort of outline for myself, it's almost like I'm confining myself inside of it. This works and doesn't work. I don't know. Again, I don't normally draw digitally, so. See, I already don't like it. Hold on, take the thing off. Because honestly, I know for a fact that this will extend out further. Now, this is probably the wrong way compared to how other people do it, but we'll get there. Did I do that at its own level? Oh, I did. I did. That means I can do this. Oh, like this. Put this guy a little bit bigger, put him in the foreground, right? You can do fun things like, I'm going to flip this guy around. Wee! These are my sound effects. So yeah, there's a nice empowering aspect to that sort of lets you have. What are we doing? It's not working. My opacity is too low. All right, so as it comes along farther, that's when I'll start putting in more definable shapes and values and stuff like that. The reason that I duplicated my shapes as early as I did is that the light is going to work differently on the different pieces of furniture, and I want to be able to modify that as I go. And then come back in and cut stuff in and clean it up as well. So this is basically, how I go about putting together a page. Now, I'm going to have some fun with this one for a second. Bear with me. I'm going to turn this chair around. So I'm sorry if I'm missing anything. If anybody has a one-page idea that they want to throw out today, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm always trying to write those down whenever they come in. And, I don't want anybody ever to feel like they can't share some kind of crazy notion that they've got in their head. So it's the same template, and here I'm going to try to pull together another chair out of it. It's that black, that's really, I'm at 100%, that's fine. I tend to draw it at least at half. The reason that I'll do that is that generally it lets me work my way up to a line. I like the idea of being able to, put lines in, take lines out all the time. So, Now I'm drawing on the one layer. I haven't jumped between layers for the different chairs because honestly, they're where they are. And in a moment, I would compress them into one layer. So I don't know if you can pick up on, I tried to slightly adjust the forward chair's angle just a little bit to separate it from the secondary one. There's just whatever little things I can do to make things differentiate from one from the next. Hey, Philip Chandler's joined us. Hi, Philip. I'm doing Peacock in a barbershop. I should write that down. Peacock in a barbershop. Yeah, I write right or left, and so sometimes I write letters backwards as I'm writing them. I'm a complicated guy. A complicated man. And great George Carlin did that. All right. So The some of the values that I pulled it for the background, I want to try to put those in here as well. Like I like tying everything all together. I know that this is probably counterintuitive to how other people draw digitally or in general, but I don't know. I do some weird stuff along the way. So, half of my drawing process, it feels like, is stepping back from stepping, from getting towards my objective, and yet, for me, it's a comfort thing. So I'm trying to put some of these colors into the chairs themselves. So I got a letter today in the mail, regular mail. Still waiting on my package that was supposed to be here 2 days ago, mail. But I got mail that was telling me about this exhibition that I had applied to, and hey, you can be a part of this, And I said, oh, I could, but I think the challenge of a lot of stuff is that we get so caught up in our moments and thinking about the immediacy of our schedule and how we're doing things, and sometimes we forget about how other people need to plan those things too. And there's just sort of this assumption for some of these events that, like, well, if you want to be here, you'll make it possible for yourself to be there. And yeah, I'm not. I'm probably the last guy for that. I'm the guy that's sort of I'll get to stuff as best as I can when I can, but I'm fairly forgetful. Surprise! What was I talking about? So yeah, we've already made scheduled plans for our summer and expenditures on stuff, because we're just trying to, at this point, get ourselves free and clear so that we can just be free and easy on money, which is something that is an objective that we've had for everybody has over the course of their life. So just the surprise thing of, hey, go to another city and spend a whole bunch of money to be there. Well, if you can budget towards those things, then those events and those conventions can be good. But if you can't budget those things because they take so long to get back to you, sometimes you just can't do them. So this is me trying to legitimize in my head why I'm not going to this thing. Right? Hi, Chris. Welcome aboard. Hiya. Welcome. So, that's the challenge, right? Is that you want to do these things, and you want to attend these events and get out there in the world and meet people and pursue those interests that clearly you've expressed by applying to these events in the first place, but you still got to be realistic. So that's what I'm doing today, is I'm being realistic. And because my first thing is about my first mode of self is that, like, you got to do it, you got to follow, there's this sort of automatic sense of obligation for me. And I think it comes from years of being a dad and single dad, and the kids need something. The whole world drops. Let's give the kids whatever they need. And I'm trying to break all those molds, because the kids are adults now. They can start figuring out what they need. What's funny about that is that I got to figure out what it is that I need, because I'm an adult now. So we're working on it. It's always a work in process, right? Okay, so I'm going to Woohoo! So I'm going to flatten these shares down to one layer. I'm going to call it, what do you think I'm going to call it? Shares. I called it shares. So one of the things that I want to do is put a little bit of structure into the background now. Whoops. So I'm just going to put some, yeah, we don't need that. Make that a little thicker, that line. This is my cheater's way of making lines straight because I'm not that guy. Too high up, drop it down, and thicken that line up. So I tend to use little tricks and bobs and try to figure out ways in order to make it look like I maybe have a better grasp on what it is that I do. Chris says, I like realistic. Almost all my Instagram is with realistic or semi-realistic styles. Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it's, you gotta know what it is that you like, and then at the same time you gotta figure out your own comfort. Like, because I work in X amount of medium, it's almost nuts the way I play with things and try to figure out different ways to find ways and means in order to pursue giving things some meat, a little bit of something interesting to them. And I know it doesn't make an awful lot of sense for others, but in my head it makes sense. And at the end of the day, that's whose noggin works, right? I'm going to put this in 2 parts. So I put this little texture down, and then oh, come on. So because I'm doing this underneath the other layer, it's sort of this sort of haphazard and crazy way of cutting together your floor. But I don't know. Again, it's trying, it's playing, right? I've tried digital, but I can't get the handle of it. Well, I don't know if I got the handle of it either. I'm just, I'm going to beat this up until it does what I want it to, I think, at this point, because it's asking for it. So I'm using an actual ruler on the screen with my digital pen in order to cut this diagonal line, because I'm sure that there are shortcut devices, and everybody's going to say, well, Chris, you just do this. Okay, well, maybe. So there's kicking that part's butt. Yeah, you're good. And then where did I put that line? Okay, so that line's in there. That's easy. That's easy. Squeezy. So this is some of these weird textures that I was talking about earlier that I'm monkeying around with now, and taking out little bits in order to push the shape of the room around. And I realized that I could probably have just made that more opaque and then made a shorter work of that for myself. But, again, I'm learning. What do we got? Co-create. Okay, so here's where I'm going to get cheeky again with this stroke key. And throw that hard line in there. And so, because why not? Because why not? Just for scuds, right? Oh, see, that's terrible. The brush is too thick and stupid. Nobody wants to be this precious friend. There we go. That's better. It's perfect? No, but it's working. So yeah, I don't quite get the hang of digital either, but I'm giving it a try. I want to have some sense of it, so that it lets me get a sense of equilibrium as I'm working. You know. Oh, what am I doing? That's the wrong way to go. There we are. Woo! See? Figuring out how to do objects. So you can change the shapes of your items, and then reverse them. And there's so much cool stuff that I'm figuring out now. Oh, it's a box. It's almost a box. My gosh, people are going to think I know what I'm doing. I don't. Promise you. I'm listening to the soundtrack for the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and I forgot how dorky Cheap Trick is. Now, that's sacrilege for you, I'm sorry. But I was a huge Cheap Trick fan when I was a kid. I thought, that guy's neato, you know. And surprise, a little blonde kid that likes, that associates with the lead singer of Cheap Trick. Of course I would, right? See, I should have just drawn this by hand. This is stupid. I always second guessing myself on this crap. So I'm trying with digital to try to figure out different ways of utilizing digital tools as opposed to just doing what I typically do, and that it is that use it like it's a traditional image where I'm just like, if I put one more layer on here, this is honestly how I would sooner draw with digital, is just put all the elements in by hand and not be too caught up in it. Just think about all the junk that's on the counter in a barber shop, and just put some of those tools together and not get too caught up in what everything is, as opposed to this whole building up things along the way process that I've tried. It doesn't ever feel right to me. I don't feel like composition ever gets correct to me. And, I would sooner draw sort of old school than get too caught up in all this. Like, here's a ridiculous thing I'm going to do. There we go. You'll do. Rather than, so I'll do this. I'll do that whole, this makes no sense. I realize that this makes no sense, but sometimes you got to do stuff like this in order to break yourself out of that mold, out of that rut. And it's not like I'm not going to come back and go in again and try to make things more representational, like realistically representational. But sometimes you have to do something that takes you out of your funk and makes you have to look at it in a rather unconventional way. So that's what I do. Oh, my medicine. Hey, it's Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Philip says, I'm not sure why, but there isn't more love for Infinite Painter. Procreate's the one everyone thinks of for the iPad, but IP has a few more options in Procreate. How much does it cost? That may be why. Yeah, there might be something to that. But anybody, here's a magical question for folks, and you can say, Chris, you're a bozo, but that's fine. Is there anything about, and I mean this, and I'm not, this isn't accusatory, this isn't debasing people's interest in stuff, but does anybody find that in the investigation of all these painting programs and the like, does it keep you from actually getting at the work? Because sometimes when we're spending X amount of time figuring out all these programs, is there output from it? And so I'm not suggesting that everything has to have output, but what I am sort of referring towards is that the learning curve we have on anything can sometimes hold us back from the executing of a thing. It's just something that, I think about when there's so many programs that people talk about, and where's all the time for that to look into the said programs? Okay, so now I'm having fun. It's around the same cost as Procreate. One-time cost of $10, but Procreate just market itself better. It's so easy. Oh, well, yeah. I think that maybe that might be the big selling feature for Procreate then. Boy, oh boy. It's got to have something to it. So the second challenge, the other challenge that I find with trying to immerse yourself in new processes is that some of those traditional lean-tos that you'll have creatively for how you know that you can stamp something into an area, or how you know that you can impact a space by using some traditional tool. I think that when you start learning a new tool and realize, oh, that doesn't apply in this dynamic, you can't do things in that regard, that really sets me back, at least. I don't know about other people, but it's tricky, right? Let's do this. So I like these Dayglow Dot programs and being able to just throw those into places for no reason at all. Because I'm ridiculous, I know. But so I've jumped up a layer. This is the sort of thing I'm referring to, though, by the way, is that remembering to jump a layer, remembering to to go about when you're putting in your new effect or whatever it is that you're doing, that you've got to remember that you can't do it where you were. You've got to remember that you can't, you have to be conscious of where you are in the process of things, as opposed to just having one flat surface. And that's the big logical leap I'm having. I can't imagine I'm doing that on a whole bunch of different platforms. Phil says sometimes it's fun to play around with them. They each have different features, workflows, pros and cons, etc. But I realized I didn't want to load up my iPad with programs. I don't blame you. Why would you? Tons of classes on Skillshare, YouTube, books, all the marketing. Rachel. Almost need Apple to invent an app to compress all the apps. I guess so. That would solve my whole dilemma. Just got to learn this one thing here, and I'm off to the races there. So I'm just cutting out the dots that I put down on certain areas, and but it's just a fun little texture I wanted to stick in here. It's different places, and why? Just for skis. That's why. Just for skis. Hey, I gotta. How am I listening to David Hasselhoff right now, folks? I might need help. Philip says I've the cloud. Join the cloud. Put everything you have on the cloud. A year ago, when it was almost finished, they updated the app. Too many things changed. Oh, for heaven's sakes! I'm sorry you had that happen to you, Philip. That would suck. I'd be a little annoyed were that me. And also not surprised. Just because I sort of assume that that's what happens all the time. See, that's my trepidatiousness towards learning all these digital programs, is that I think as soon as I got it figured out, they're going to change it. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I'm a nervous Nelly. I'm a worrywart. I'm a loner, Daddy, a rebel. That's why my friends call me Whiskers. I got nothing. It doesn't change that much. Unless you got a class set. You probably think you had a class. Flashlight. Straight line. I had a teacher in high school that taught us how to draw a 3-foot straight line. And every now and then I remember to do that. Okay, so all right, so some of this is coming together now. Drop the opacity down for this. The other thing I'll find I do a lot is that I'll change gears while I'm doing something like here. I just decided to start doing all this cross hatching. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but and that the antagonizing part of this is that there's very specific ways I work in traditional medium, and I don't do it digitally. For some reason, my brain disconnects. Just do it like you do it in traditional medium, because when I'm painting, here, I'll show you something. Let me do this. Where's that doodly-doo? There it is. Okay. Just gonna squish everything now. There we go. Happy days. Bye-bye. So when I'm painting a face, let's start. Okay, so if I'm painting a face in, I'm not overly worried about bigger. There we go. So I don't know if other people do this or not, but I'll just throw colors down, and I'll throw them down really opaque. And so if I'm painting, I'm not overly concerned about just going over top of my own colors. Does that make sense? So for me, this way of painting faces, I seem to always forget to do this when I'm working digitally. I don't know why. I'm not trying to focus on the whole face. I just want to do these around the eyes. I don't know even why I'm all caught up in this, but see, teachers talk about not doing Skillshare anymore because they aren't paying enough. It's too bad. TO or YT? Huh. Oh yeah, no, that's good. I don't know. Skillshare changed their payout plan. This is interesting to hear, folks, because I was actually just going to start thinking about maybe is there something to it? See, I'm not necessarily the guy who's trying to chase down all the incomes online, but keep people from hearing people complain about it. Where's that? There it is. This Skillshare. Trying to keep. I'm sorry. Oh, you guys are having a great conversation with Skillshare. Oh, hey, thanks, Chris. You guys are having a great conversation about Skillshare here. So this is just hacking at the image and finding marks and putting down cuts into the surface and not being too concerned and overly worked up about the finish of it. It builds up over time, right? But it's sort of like hacking at little pieces at a time, bringing it all together. And this is the way I like to experiment and play as I go. Now, on the side of the screen, you can see I started to try to come up with somebody had said to me, put the colors that you're using on the side of the screen. And so I started doing that. And I realized I really don't care about that. It just sort of dawned on me a few minutes ago. Why do I care about the stupid colors on the side? I just pull them out of the image. So I don't know. I don't know how other people draw digitally or paint digitally, but oh no. See, I keep doing that where I mean to do this. I know that starting with larger lines and working the smaller lines is the way to go, but that's kind of, I don't know, when I'm painting with a brush, I'll turn the brush around however I want to and while I'm working with it. Now I got yellow on my head. I might start singing. Lots of practice. Ask me to use gouache, acrylic, or color pencils, and I can do it. Chris, I feel exactly the same way. I feel this. It's a little bit unnerving because this is pure chaos that's on the screen right now, and because I don't use this. I don't do this stuff. There's a couple. The way that I'm painting, I do it so infrequently. But when I do it, it takes me a while to work something up. Let me see if I can find. No, that's not it. I have this. This is my one attempt at painting digitally, and it's limiting myself to one set of colors and just building it up from marks, and that's it, right? So there's a real discomfort for me working in this medium, and it's largely because I don't, but if just hacking at it and not being overly concerned about it, I think is the sort of thing I need to do in order to maybe expedite my process, because I find that I can put an image down and so quickly, right? And when I'm working in the computer, but when it comes to coloring, it's almost like a fill in the lines business with the already penciled lines that I've done. And quite honestly, I'd rather not do that. I find that really boring. At least to me, it's boring. I mean, there's other people that make entire professions out of it, but that's the same problem that I have with everything now. If I've drawn it, I don't want to ink it. So I'll draw in pen so I don't have to. If I've already drawn it in ink, well, now I don't have to color it. If I do it in colored inks, I don't have to, right? All those little things. But finding a face and understanding the structure of face and all of that, that's the stuff that we've learned traditionally. What am I missing? Yeah, I like to get my hands dirty too. I'm completely in agreement with you on that, which I think as close as I can get to that with digital is by making the drawings and as dirty as I do. Digital can be fun. It's so portable. It's portable. I have a PC, so Dee likes to import her own art and play with it in Procreate. See, I like that too. That's primarily how I make all these pages, right? Coloring is funny, easy. Yeah, well, with practice, right? Same with everything else. But yeah, you're quite a good colorist. So under the same scale of color, you can see how I'm sorry, talking to my hand too much. I just keep stepping down in the same line of values and just keep running through it. Now, ideally, I know I need to throw some greens in, some light green and some other values in here into the face, but I'll get there. Anyways, I'm completely off the mark here. I'm supposed to be doing a peacock in a barber shop. Bam! Barbershop's back. I got myself all sidetracked there. So this is what I mean, though, is that the tracing over business, I find it boring. So you don't have to do only one or another. The last page that I just did, the Cat Curling City Championships, all of the characters in the foreground and the cats, that's all drawn traditionally. And then all the background is digital manipulation of photographs. And honestly, there's a couple that have the curling rings in them, but others are like, this is an industrial roof here that's in the first panel. And I keep putting that industrial roof through a whole bunch of images just because it works for that, right? But I'm a firm proponent of, because the pages that the original drawings are over here, right? Like the original drawings are, this is what I scan and then go and manipulate to put that together. So I'm a firm proponent of the fusion principle. But, trying to stick to just this one landing is kind of ridiculous. Coloring is fun. Christine Cat and Paste, Chris Chang, Alex Ross is in the comics. Yeah, Ross is good. There's a great deal of fantastic artists that look at what George Pratt does, Kent Williams does. John Van Fleet is incredible. Is that Cat and Paste? Yeah, cat is fantastic. CMP is fast. Yeah, see, I was looking at CMP's work and really, really like it. So I'm trying to just play and explore and find and shapes and things that I like far more than I'm worried about the finish. But I think that you know I gotta kind of aim more my gun more directly at what it is I'm trying to shoot for here. Because all of it just becomes an exercise otherwise. And that's the thing. That's why I asked what I asked earlier is that if I'm to sit down and start figuring out all these programs, I've sort of landed on Photoshop just because of my whole, I got the program, I'm not paying for blah, blah, blah. But if anybody can, it would sing the praises of one over the other. Maybe that should be the one that I'm trying to understand. See, the other part is that, the whole idea of having a program for $10, is it just on my computer, or they do updates now? Because then there's that panic in me right away. Is that, what are they doing on my computer? Right? 500 comes. There we go. Yeah, DD's very good. All right. So I'm set at 100% for my marks, and in order to force myself to stop being precious, and hopefully that's going to work. It's a good theory. And then, of course, I'll cut the frame down once I get rolling along. But in the interim, the whole point of putting some of these just random patterns in the window or in the mirrors is just because. Excellent. So at this point, at a certain point in time, what are we at? An hour 8. I gotta stop and say, okay, enough farting around in the back. I have lurked around for 5 years. What? Chris, I'm from another country. I'm from another culture. It's called Canada. We're all the same. I'm glad that you've started talking in DD Stream, because that is possibly the nicest pile of people that ever existed on planet Earth. I'm so interested in how supportive and connected all these people are. It's really nice. Okay. All right. So I have give me a second. I have a little peacock image that I'm going to stick over here. Oh, see, now it disappeared. That's such a stupid system I have. All right, that's fine. There it is. Just want to see it for a second. Off we go. So I'm going to throw another layer on. Oops. Okay. I need this color better. There we go. Oh, that's so super. I gotta look up your streams on Sunday, Chris. Thank you for letting us know that's when they are. What time on Sunday? Yeah, yes. Yeah, there's so many cool people here. What time are your streams on Sunday so that we can tell people? Oh, look at all the curling stuff. Wow. So there we go. I'm going to have the peacock parading around. And the whole gist of this page will be that every time the people are getting close to their haircuts, the peacock's going to, well, that's a peacock. I just want to get another look at that sucker. Jeez. Where are we at? Barber of Seville music. Oh my goodness. This is great. I'm the barber. Excellent. Chris is on 7 a.m. CST on Sundays. When is that EST? I have to look that up. But I look forward to taking a peek. I think I signed, Chris, I think I signed up today. I think I started following you today. What's happened? I'm on the eraser. Sorry, I'm all in the zone today. I appreciate everybody having such a wonderful conversation. I'm sorry I haven't been paying enough attention. Tonight is Art Block with Philip's friend Enrique. What time is that? At Phil, so that people can. Thank you very much, Dee Dee. So 7 a.m. CST on Sunday for Chris's show is at 8 EST for anybody that's local to me that's wondering. Excellent. Yeah, I saw that. That was cool. Yeah, that when you were showing it, I thought, hey, that's that guy that does stuff with Philip. That's that crazy kid, man. Hey, all right. Trying to decide on what to do with the tail of the peacock because I want to get silly and overly creative as I usually do. Like we're putting like this, putting the stars around the kid's eyes. That's what I'm referring to by getting weird. There's a part of me that's like, oh, maybe the door will get a knock on it and I'll get my parts of my killer robot. Still waiting on a stupid package for a week now. 8 p.m. and 11 EST tonight is Philip's stream. Excellent. That's doable. So I've got two different color points here. I've got the green from the background there as a starter, and I've got the blue from around the chairs as a starter. And then it's just variations on those values throughout. Getting a little more and more complex as I go. Ooh, I like that. So this is my favorite color, by the way. This is like a drab green. I should probably at some point look and see what a peacock looks like again. Drawing a turkey vulture, Runciman, what are you doing? I used to have, there's a park in London here called Storybook Gardens, and they used to have all kinds of animals in it, and otters and a seal and peacocks and barn animals, and it's not the same anymore. No, it's more like just a play area for children. It's kind of disappointing to me. Why can't it be like it was back in the good old days? You know, sure, those animals were unhappy and were in captivity, but you know, the kids loved it. Exploring an idea here. Oh, yeah. I'll try to be there, Philip. My class finishes at 8. What are you taking? What are you going to class for? Chris, are you teaching a class? Oh, ask Enrique. That's a good one. Ask him about his thoughts on Skillshare since it changes. Excellent. Yeah, I like to see your things there, Philip. I don't really, not really interested so much when you got that talking teenager kid on there, but you know, please, no mods here. I don't have any mods. I clearly could use one. I like this color. I'm gonna put it through the image. sneak it in here and there. Of course, I've done this on the same layer as the bird. Boy, oh boy, I tell you. Whee! See, this is where I'm having too much fun with the tail. Indeed. No, he will not be on tonight. Our block is a little formal. No, that's why I'm really looking forward to Art Block. I really interested in what you and Enrique have to say. And that's a really good suggestion, by the way, about asking his thoughts on Skillshare. That's So at the end of the day, and this is going to be the ridiculous part that is me. This is just a panel, but I'm drawing a panel, each panel at this larger size, so that I can reduce it down and have it fit in. So I'm putting a bunch of little sticks and bramble and whatnot around the floor of the hair salon, barber shop. Peacock in a barber shop. There we go. It's funny how you immediately start going for certain colors. I randomly picked the same green off of that the color field there. Just silly. Suppose I should look at that picture of the peacock again. He's had his up for quite a while, and a few weeks ago he said his income from that had really dropped. Kind of peaked and dropped. Oh, that's rough. That's rough if you're dependent on that. Okay, I get it. I think I get it. Yeah, I would think that Enrique would have thoughts about those changes for sure. That's it's very true. It's very true. All right, so I'm just going to do a little bit more and then I'm off to the next panel. Just going to root some of these elements with I thought my guy has been sitting here right here at my knee the entire stream and has not bothered me the whole time. This is a good day for he and I. No climbing on me while I'm working. I'm referring to my feline here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to squish all this down into one. And let's kill that. Oh, you know what I got to do? That. Almost done. Woo, that's fun. Oh, that's excellent. What in the world? Super windy and you're getting snow in Canada? Oh, that, you know, whenever I hear you talk about snow, I brace myself because it's coming here next. Oh, and you're going to put your garden in. Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. Oh, I see what I've done. So just merging these suckers together now. So I like this sort of silly thing here, like the I'll show you in a second, the little edging on the image and these crazy patterns because I put a stroke on the image while it was still translucent. But now when I do this, it puts this nice black line on the outside of it so that now when I scroll it down, so there's my first panel for Peacock in a barbershop. Press that side a little bit. There we go. There's the first panel. Okay, this was fun. The garden sounds nice. I'd put one in, but I think the landlord would appreciate it. Well, not in the floor you live on. We're exhausted for 3 weeks. No energy, drive, motivation. It's bad. Yeah. Didi's had a really hard time with pollen. Hey, there you go. Didi's thinking share their produce with the landlord. Huh? Would you like some guava? I don't know what guava is. Oh, thank you. That's nice. Okay, so this is me trying to do a comic digitally. I feel like it's kind of rough and chunky, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna draw some more peacocks and have some silly fun and try some different things and talk about the pros and cons of a peacock in a barbershop, because I think it's a hilarious notion. But text is going to definitely be that's going to be fun. I'm going to do a bit of silly. And I think I'm going to push this right through the center of the image. That's better. Yeah, I like doing silly things, and I think that figuring out silly things in the structure of a comic page kind of is the sort of stuff that kind of makes it more interesting. So, oh no, oh boy, I'm sorry, Philip, you're going through all this junk again. I'm not going to post it up here in front of the screen, but boy, oh boy. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm gonna just keep plugging away on this, but it's been an hour and a half for me, which means I gotta do a bunch of things, And but I'll come back on tonight, and while I'm watching Philip's stream at 11, and then it's the Artcasters at 12, and they're gonna have Paul Padon as the guest, and Gary Hodges and Jim Lujan are being guest hosts with Joshua Kimball. So I'm looking forward to this conversation that these crazy maniacs are going to have. A couple of really cool animators and some comic guys, and see what their talk is tonight. And that's 12 p.m. EST and 11 p.m. EST for Philip and Enrique's program. So excellent. Oh, what is this? Hey, do your thing for an hour. Do your thing for an hour, and then let them do their thing for an hour, and then you come back and do another thing later. And then Chris is at 8 EST, 8 p.m., I think it is, or 8 p.m. EST, and Sunday, on Sunday. So I'm going to check in on that for sure, Chris. Thank you so much for joining in and for sharing those details, because I'm excited. I'm excited to see your stream. And Didi, of course, is Mondays and Wednesdays every week at 9, 8. What time do you start at, Dee? I think, oh no, it's 3.5 hours. So you start at 8. So yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take off. I'll be back at 2 o'clock tomorrow. I will have this posted in the morning, because I will draw this quite quickly tonight while watching these programs. And then tomorrow, if anybody has a one-page comic suggestion, if you've got a couple sentence idea, something silly, and sorry, I cut that up there. Okay, excellent. Philip's still going to do it tonight. Something 8 a.m. EST. Thank you, on Sunday. Thank you, Chris, for Chris's stream. Yeah, so if anybody has a one-page comic idea they want to suggest, or let me know. Let me know. Put it in the comments here. Put it in the comments on any of the social media that I have, and in that way, we'll add it to the book, and I'll eventually do a one-page comic on it. I turn over a new page every 24 hours. So this is number 73 since the start of the month that I've done in camera. So for 1 pages, and then this is, of course, I've got the other 3 books finished too. So yeah, I'm sorry. Yesterday I finished my 3rd book. So yay! Okay, that's it for me. Thanks very much for hanging out, everybody. Oh, Seven, you just came in. I'm so sorry, Seven. Hi, Seven. Hi, everybody. Say hi to Seven. I'll be back, my friend, and we'll see you then. Take care, gang. Have a great day. Keep creating. I want to see what you're doing. Bye for now.